When talking about secret societies, most people usually think about a group of men because we've been the dominant sex throughout all of history, but at least one powerful secret society of women exists, the Belizean Grove, which is a group of about 100 influential women from politics, media, and even high-ranking women in the military, which was created as a female version of the Bḻhemian Grove. No, I'm not kidding. It was founded on Super Bowl weekend in 2001 by a feminist named Susan Stroutberg, who is also the founder of an organization called PartnerCom, which works to put together and manage advisory boards around the world. And while her husband and most men were preoccupied with football, she had something else in mind. The Belizean Grove, while inspired by the Bḻhemian Grove, is named after the country of Belize in Central America, where the women meet every year for 3 days of private off-the-record talks, substantive programs, whatever that means, and bonding. It certainly is strange that some of the world's most powerful women would fly down to Central America for a weekend when they could simply meet locally at one of their lavish private residences or any number of convention centers or hotel resorts in America. Maybe it's so they can go out to the bars without the risk of being recognized by the locals, so they can get serviced by some young men willing to bet a cougar. Such behavior would run them the risk of getting caught or recognized if they did it in major American cities. So perhaps the long-distance ladies' night was designed to facilitate such activities. Just a theory. While high-level female executives from major banks, public relations firms, and even the U.S. military belong to the Belizean Grove, perhaps the group's most famous member is Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who was a diversity nomination by Barack Obama, or actually former Belizean Grove member to be exact. During the vetting process for her nomination to the Supreme Court, it was uncovered that she was a member of this strange women's group, causing her to resign since the American Bar Association forbids a judge to be a member of any organization that discriminates against anyone based on sex, religion, race, or national origin. That's what wokeism does. It ruins the fun for everyone. Now women can't even be members of women's groups because of concerns that it discriminates against men. Serves them right. But if it had not been for Republicans digging for dirt on Sonia Sotomayor, hoping to derail her confirmation to the Supreme Court, we likely would still be unaware of the Belizean Grove's existence. Founder Susan Stroutberg was not happy about the publicity and said that they like to stay under the radar. The group says that they're a constellation of influential women who are key decision makers in the business, nonprofit, and public sectors who build mutually beneficial relationships in order to both take charge of their own destinies and help other women do the same. In order to join, a member must recommend a woman to the Belizean Grove Advisory Board, which then decides whether or not to admit them to the club. A few known members are Army General Anne E. Dunwoody, former Goldman Sachs executive Ann Kaplan, and General Services Administration Director Loretta Doan. Facebook's Chief Operating Officer Sheryl Sandberg is also believed to be a member as well. A New York Times article written in 2011 admitted that the Belizean Grove connects top women in technology, finance, and the media, but it's currently unknown if the group conducts any bizarre rituals like their male counterpart at the Bḻhemian Grove. In fact, not much is known about the Belizean Grove, and like I said, if it hadn't been for Republican opposition research into Sonia Sotomayor, they'd likely still be completely unknown. And if you think a secret society of powerful feminists who have penis envy because they can't attend the Bḻhemian Grove is strange, would you believe that there is a secret society of elite secretaries? I'm not kidding. It's called the Seraphic Society, and this strange group was founded in 1940 in New York to supply leaders in business, government, and philanthropic enterprises with trustworthy secretaries. The most powerful CEOs in America get their secretaries from the Seraphic Society, which is named after the seraphim, the highest order of angels in heaven, because the society considers their secretaries angels who protect gods. David Rockefeller, Steve Forbes, CEOs from Merrill Lynch, Goldman Sachs, Chase Manhattan Bank, Sony, and many other Fortune 500 companies all use the Seraphic Society to provide them with trustworthy secretaries. A Fortune magazine article in 2009 even admitted the Federal Reserve Bank and Council on Foreign Relations used this Secretarial Skull and Bones Society. That's what they called it, the Secretarial Skull and Bones, referring to the secret society at Yale that masquerades as a fraternity when it's not a fraternity because people don't join until their senior year. That is, if they're recruited, and it prepares them for placement in America's establishment accomplishment after they graduate, but that's a whole other topic. When a New York Times journalist named John Glassy was working on an article about the Seraphic Society back in the 90s, he was told by the group's president at the time, who asked not to be identified, that they're a very quiet and low-key organization, and they get very touchy when people start asking questions about them. One angel who was willing to speak with the reporter on the condition of anonymity told him that some people would love to be members, but they just don't fit the qualifications, and that's what keeps the organization so special. Not just anyone can join. With many high-powered CEOs and international banks essentially being organized crime bosses, they can't just hire any secretary to deal with their shady affairs, so the Seraphic Society can provide them with women they know won't have any second thoughts or misgivings about the kind of work their boss is involved in, and who will be compensated very well for their cooperation. The saying goes that behind every great man is a great woman, but the same is true that behind every corrupt man is a woman who's willing to look the other way. Secretaries for the rich and powerful, or administrative assistants as they're often called, don't just deal with their boss's schedule, but are also closely intertwined with their personal lives as well. Personal assistants often get to know the intimate details of their bosses and are trusted to manage what are called P&Cs, or personals and confidentials, which may range from doing their personal shopping to even arranging the delivery of drugs or hookers. You see, behind the jokes and sarcasm, I've done a lot of research into a lot of different things. I've gone deep down the rabbit hole. If you've read any of my books, then you would know this. If you haven't, but you like my serious in-depth reports like this, then you have to read them. So order the Liberal Media Industrial Complex, or The True Story of Fake News, or if you dare, get a copy of Inside the Illuminati, Evidence, Objectives, and Methods of Operation in paperback from Amazon.com, or download the ebooks from Kindle, iBooks, Nook, or Google Play. Of course, there are links to them in the description below, so head on over to Amazon.com or click the links in the description below and check them out.